Welcome to today's episode of the Best of Raleigh. I am so glad you're here because we are going to have an engaging conversation, get our house in order, literally, with the owner of Reclaim Professional Organizing, Allison Flinn. Allison has been organizing homes all over the Triangle since 2010, and I'm going to tell you, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see some serious eye candy that is going to make you go directly to Instagram and reach out to her and get her in your house ASAP. So Allison, thank you so much for visiting with us today.
I'm excited.
So I've got some personal experience with you. We met years ago, and I had you come over, and we started with my pantry right?
Yes.
During COVID.
Yes.
My pantry was a disaster, having 3 kids at home. And, you opened the doors and stuff fell out of the pantry. Allison and her team came in within an afternoon. It was done. It was amazing. And I want to report that 2.5 or 3 years later, it still is organized.
That's the goal. We always love to hear that.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about that. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about you. So tell us how you landed in Raleigh.
So I'm from the East Coast, but I had moved out to Los Angeles after college, just, experience a big city. And after 7 years, I was kind of over it. And so I wanted to move back to the East Coast, raise a family, be able to actually buy a house, and ultimately start a business because I knew Raleigh was one of the best places to start a business. So my now husband and I packed up and moved to Raleigh in 2010.
And you started your business shortly after that.
Right as we moved, I got the wheels in motion prior to our move. I actually started organizing on the side about 2 years before we moved. So I knew it's something that I loved. And I knew once we got here, and I had no choice. I had to have an income. So I knew I was going to give it everything I had and start this business.
So you started Reclaim in 2010. And so what got you so jazzed about organizing? I mean, I'm a salesperson. I couldn't think of anything worse that I would want to do. And you just happen to be really good at it. And I've seen you in action. And I know it joneses you out. You love it. So why?
It's my obsession. I've always been really good at it. As a kid, I was always rearranging furniture in my room, containing things, labeling things. I just love everything about organizing. And so that's kind of what brought me into this field, was just that natural love for organizing. And then on top of that, I love to help people. And when I walk into a room and I see clutter, I actually get excited.
She really does.
Because I see the end result. So when I walked into your pantry, I was really, really excited to get my hands on that because it was really messy. And I knew that in just a few hours, we could totally transform it and make you and your family a space that was easy to maintain, easy to find what you need when you needed it, kept you from overbuying at the grocery store, little things like that. So I just love turning chaos into calm, basically.
Well, and that's a great point, Allison, because that is what you do. That should be your tagline, chaos to calm, because that is exactly what happened at my house. And, I'm in the business, right? I'm a real estate agent. I go in people's houses all the time, and people are genuinely they want their privacy, right? So they don't want people snooping through their closets and all that stuff. And I'm the same way. And oftentimes the cobbler's kids have no shoes, right? So my house is probably messier than any of the houses that I look at because I'm so busy taking care of their homes and getting their homes ready for market and solving their problems that my house sometimes falls down the list a little bit. It's not messy. It's just not as organized as it should be. So when you came in and your team did the pantry, it was so amazing to watch y'all work. And I want to talk about that process a little bit. And we're going to show you some video if you're watching this on YouTube, because they basically came in, did some measurements, right? Talk me through the process of how we did.
So first we met, I think it only took about 15 minutes, but you showed me the pantry. We talked about what was working, what was not working.
I was sweating and dying while she was looking at my pantry. It was horrific.
And then I took all the appropriate measurements so we could get your pantry done in a day. That is our goal, to get at least one space organized in a day. So we bring all the products, we bring a team, and we basically knock it out in a day. And something our clients love that I know you loved is that we didn't need you.
No.
Except for it was time. It's like, okay, Gretchen, here's the pile of expired food. And so we kind of talked through, what we found in the pantry, how we were going to organize it, but we literally didn't need you. You could go about your day, and at the end of the day, the pantry was perfectly organized.
I thought I was going to die and fall apart when they took everything out of the pantry and put it on my countertop. And if that's not bad enough, my videographer was there to video the whole thing. It was traumatizing at best, but the final result, when you open that pantry, I thought I was going to die. I almost lost it. It was so good.
And that's my favorite part. It's the grand reveal. It's showing our clients, look at what we did. This is your space. Because as you said, we have an Instagram. We post a lot of content, but people still don't think that that could be their home, but it can be. And so to be able to give that to you was such a joy.
Well, and the first question I asked you, I remember after just kind of the moment set in, I was like, how am I going to keep it this way? Like, how is this gonna be the case? And you gave me a few simple tips on the bulk products and extras and just a few little things to help me be mindful of the space that have created that same space. Maybe it's a little, the bins are a little bit more full than when you left, but it's still exactly the same.
Yes, and our goal is to create systems that are easy to maintain. So no two pantries are the same. So we took into account that you have 3 kids at home and, really made a system that would work for you, gave you room to grow, and like you said, had a space for overstock items. So yes, it's all about our client. Everything is personalized to our clients and their space.
Well, I was very happy. You've since worked with several of my clients on their homes. You've worked with several of our builders. In fact, I was just over at Kevin and Chris's house yesterday looking at the playroom that y'all organized, and I've had some other clients where, I don't know that you always think about organization of a playroom as a part of your home organization, but it's so important for your kids, and it sets such
important.
Yeah, it sets such a system for them.
Yes, I was just actually doing a consult yesterday where the woman was telling me that I get frustrated with my kids because they don't put their stuff away, but then when I go and take a look, there's no place for the stuff to go. So yes, most people start with the kitchen, pantry, and then it kind of extends to the rest of the house, as you know, because then we did your kitchen, your laundry room, your office.
Yeah, and when you did my kitchen, you changed all the cabinets and all the drawers, and we had Post-it notes on our kitchen for like 6 months. But I'm going to tell you, as hard as it was for my family, I didn't let them move one thing back, and it is so well organized. I would never have thought to organize the kitchen the way that you organized it. And that leads me into one of the larger services that you offer, which is the entire house pack and unpack, or either one. But the unpack is really what you want, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's a whole nother system in itself.
Yes. The first step is the edit. That's where we declutter. So it's the perfect time to go through your belongings is when you're getting ready to move. We have so many horror stories of clients where the movers literally packed garbage.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
And then we show up and it's chaotic. So the first step is the edit. It's decluttering, making sure they're only taking what they need and use. And then it comes packing. And when you have us pack, it's very, very organized on the front end, which saves time on the back end. So then we're there on moving day, overseeing the movers, and then we start unpacking and putting everything away in a very organized fashion. So everything has a home and it's easy to find and access what you need.
And how long does that take? So like if somebody's moving truck is pulling up and they're bringing all their stuff off, let's say you didn't pack it. How long does it take you to get, a 4,000 square foot house?
Depending on the size of the team, we do have a team of 12. We would probably bring about half of those people, but probably 2 to 3 days. And it's not just unpacking, it's getting all the appropriate organizing materials. So all the bins, Lazy Susans, baskets. That's what really, where we really shine, is that we're setting up systems that are not only functional, but beautiful too.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And speaking of moving, this show is a way for us to highlight our trusted partners and the people and the businesses in Raleigh that you need to know. And I will tell you, Reclaim is the best when it comes to personal organization. You can take it from someone who's used them personally and would use them again. And when it comes to moving, there's a lot of components that go into it. And the Coley Group is here to be your resource, whether you're looking to move in the next 5 days or in the next 3 years. If you're thinking about making a move in the Raleigh market, we want to be here to help you, whether you're coming in or just moving to a different place inside of it. We've got a list of trusted partners, just like Allison, that we work with day in and day out. We've vetted them, we've used them, and they're a resource for you as well. So feel free to reach out to us at the details below. And if you love what you're hearing on today's Best of Raleigh, make sure you hit follow and be the first to know about all the incredible things going on in the Raleigh market. And this really is your guide to luxury living in Raleigh. So when it comes to organizing a home, I'm sure there are a lot of fears, just like I felt, that people feel. What are some of the biggest ones that you see people feel that prevents them from getting their home organized?
Often like they feel like they might be judged, they're embarrassed of their space, they feel like it's hopeless, but we do this all day, every day. Like I said before, when we walk into a mess, we're excited because we can already envision what the end is going to look like, and we know they're going to feel so good. Oftentimes, when we meet someone, they say, I'm so overwhelmed, and then when we organize them, they say, I feel as if a weight has been lifted. This is amazing. So because we do this all the time, we know all the tips and tricks to getting a project done efficiently.
I love that. And speaking of getting a project done efficiently, you've got an incredible team right now. Tell us a little bit about how Reclaim has grown and how you guys operate right now.
Okay, so I was very stubborn in the beginning, and it took me 7 years to hire my first employee.
What? I cannot.
I know, it's crazy. I hired independent contractors here and there, but I just thought, I'm the best. I need all the control. And then finally one day, I was just getting too busy. And so I hired my very first employee, Mary, who is still with me.
We love you, Mary.
And she was amazing. So I had an amazing experience with her. And then as the work just kept on rolling in, I needed more people. And so now I usually don't even go on the jobs. I'm managing the team. I'm selling our services. And it's just amazing to see. We often have 2 or 3 teams out a day, and to see their before and after pictures come in and talk to the clients and hear how great it was. It's just so rewarding.
Your team is amazing. I don't know how you find them all, but they come in their little black Reclaim shirts, and they're all ready to go, get your house all straightened up. And you're right. You do feel overwhelmed, and the sense of peace that you have when your home is organized and your space is tidy and it's just free of clutter. There's so many studies that have been written about how good for your mental health that is.
Yes.
So Allison, who are the type of clients that you're typically working with?
Usually busy families, busy professionals, people that just have so much going on, they can't dedicate the time to declutter and organize.
And then probably people moving.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
If you are a busy person moving into this market, it's totally worth having a conversation with you.
Definitely. The number of times we work with people 2-3 years after they moved and they still have boxes in their attic, in their garage, it's a real issue that people face because they're just too busy to really deal with that themselves.
I see it all the time. 5 years later, I go in to list their house and they're still packed. I'm like, you never unpacked this room. And they're like, we didn't really use it. That's why we're moving. What are the most popular spaces that your clients are organizing?
By far, pantry, scullery. Number one, that usually leads to the kitchen, and then almost always people then have us come back and do several other rooms of their home. Playrooms, closets, bathrooms, and then we also do attics, basements, garages. So we do it all.
You do everything. I particularly, because I haven't done my closet, and I know you're itching to get in there, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I've seen some pretty incredible closets that you all have done. What's the method to the madness behind starting a closet?
When we're talking about your typical organizing, we pull everything out, we bring in garment racks, we categorize it all by style and by color, so then you can see what you actually have. Make those tough decisions. Are we really going to hold on to that dress from college? Those things. And then we put everything back in a very organized fashion so that everything has a home, which is really the key to organizing any space of the house, is that everything has a home. So when life does get crazy, that everything has a place to go back to.
I've seen lots of your closet work on Instagram and lots of your closet work in my clients' houses, and I'm so envious. So I think that might be our next project, because I have the smallest closet on the planet, just so everybody knows, and I have nowhere to put anything, and everything is just, sometimes it's color coordinated. it was better than you thought though when I showed it to
Yes.
you. So Allison, is there anything else you want to share with us about organizing and just keeping your house? Do you have any little nuggets of tips for people who might not be there yet, but are thinking about organizing?
The first step, as I've mentioned, is declutter. So just grab a trash bag, grab a box, and go into each room of your house and just pull things that you know or donate or trash. That's the first step and the easiest, just identifying things very quickly that you no longer need or use. Because without decluttering first, the organizing system probably isn't going to hold up if you're keeping a lot of things you don't need and use. And the second one is more of a don't, and I actually posted a reel on Instagram the other day that got a ton of action because it was all about don't buy bins before you declutter. So often we go into people's homes and there's just bins everywhere that are not right for the space. And it seemed to really resonate with a lot of people because they're like, I've been there, done that. I've been in Target, saw some cute baskets. Oh, but they actually don't fit in my pantry. So they end up in a pile or maybe used and not really working. So that would be my two things are always declutter first and then wait on buying the bins.
Well, those are two great pieces of advice because I'm a bin buyer myself. I see them and they look so cute and I'm like, oh, this is great. And you made me get rid of all my bins and you got me new bins. But that's okay. And you have a great download on your website. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we have a free download. It's called Streamline Your Space. And it's basically a how-to on organizing every room of your home.
I love that. Well, where can they find you?
So our website is reclaimnc.com, and on Instagram we are at Reclaim Professional Organizing.
And they are on Instagram religiously. So if you're out there wondering what they do, go to Instagram and you're going to fall in love and want to do every single room of your house. Well, Allison, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to feature Reclaim as one of the Coley Group's trusted partners and one of the best in Raleigh. You know, Allison and I both think Raleigh is a pretty special place to live, and we want you to experience it just like we do. So we want this to be your resource for all the people, places, and businesses that you need to know in Raleigh. And if you're thinking about making a move, make the Coley Group your first phone call. All of our information is going to be below. And if you loved what you heard here, make sure you press that follow button and follow us because we drop a new episode every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. And we would love to help introduce you to our incredible city and be your guide to luxury living in Raleigh. We'll see you in the next episode of The Best of Raleigh.